Friday, the 12th of June show. Actually, 2 days before my dear sweetheart's birthday.
Oh, gosh. Don't even talk about that.
And, of course, you are just had a wonderful little visit with our granddaughter and our son up in Portland, and I'm sure you're all recharged and ready for a great Friday show.
I am. I got back early yesterday morning, took the 6:30 in the morning flight, and here I am today. Boy, I had a great sleep. It's nice to be home, but it was nice to be up there, of course. All I did was I carried her everywhere. Amanda said, "I'm going to have her spoiled." Because every time I go to put her down, we go, it's crazy. Anyways, hi, everyone. It's great to be here. I'm glad I'm back home. I had to make it back for my Friday show.
Yeah, I know. It's important.
I was bragging last week about never missing one. I better show up today. So, I've had some calls already asking when the next sale is. My goodness, you guys out there. You're going from sale to sale. Don't forget us in between sales. We still have to pay for airtime and keep us going and keep us alive and our bills paid. So please don't forget us in between the sales. But, of course, I think you can figure out the next sale.
Well, you always have sales every day anyway. You have 3 and 6 packs and all kinds of deals. Yeah.
You just cut me off.
Sorry, honey. Go ahead.
The 4th of July is the next sale.
Ah.
I'm going to announce it. I know you don't like me announcing it too early because Bill thinks everybody waits. But hey, don't wait. Don't forget us in between sales too, because the sales are really, really great for you guys. I know that. They're good for us. They're great for you. That way. So,
can I bring up something we've talked about, and I would like to have you on the air when we talk about it, is the franchise. Where we're actually working on a franchise arrangement so people can get a diagnostic therapy Nutrimed van anywhere in the world, and they can get a franchise where they'll have the diagnostic equipment of a QRMA, an 8DLRS and Metatron, hyperbaric chambers, and the morphogenic field therapy, which we can bring in from China and Russia from Dr. Nesterov and the Russian Space Agency.
And how is the person that gets the van and this equipment, what are they supposed to?
Well, like any franchise, there'll be a fee up front. We won't discuss that now. There'll be a percentage of the proceeds, and then, of course, the only nutraceuticals they can sell or recommend are our Nutrimeds. And there'll be a diagnostic level. For example, a lot of times that has to be bumped up to a physician, if not in their own country, someone we train. They can look at the data and determine if they need to have a conventional medical doctor or surgeon or other person involved, or a specialty clinic like for cancer.
They would have to buy the hyperbaric chamber and the other equipment.
Right. And, of course, there will be a franchise fee and an agreement, and they have to adhere to it, or their agreement will become null and void, and they'll no longer be able to do it.
And they'd have to buy the van.
Right, and of course they can have a second one to hand, but it's going to be really good business because they'll be connected. This is a whole new kind of medicine. And it could have, besides these diagnostic therapy vans, it could have, let's say, a surgical van like our Mercy ships that could come out to a rural area and have a dentist or a plastic surgeon or someone fix cleft lip, or if that's up to them. They can do this on the side, but our medical vans are going to be able to actually diagnose if you have cancer or if you have a health problem, even before you have pathology, and they can actually start to change your body back to normal.
And if you've worked out costs, I'm always thinking of the costs.
That's something we have to work out. We don't have numbers yet. We're just in the process of thinking.
Who's
right
we?
now.
Who's we?
You, me, and
good to know.
And the medical legal things that we're going to work out in terms of, and it depends on which country. It can be from Guatemala to Russia to China to anywhere.
I thought it was with hyperbaric.
Yes, it will be, because you want to have a hyperbaric chamber, like a mild vertical hyperbaric grand dive, big enough you can have actually 2 people in it. And then you have inside the machine.
What's his name that has the hyperbaric?
Bruce McKeeman.
Bruce, yeah. Didn't Bruce already go up to California and check out to see that you could do that? It's very doable to put.
Very doable. You have all the specs already. Everything that we're talking about, including the Metatron, morphogenic field therapy, even the barista to make a Nutrimed smoothie, everything is off the shelf. We're ready to do now. So it's just a matter of putting together the financial agreement and the arrangement. The person decide, hey, I want to do this business. Mm-hmm. But they would become an affiliate as well, and of course we'd have an arrangement where we give them some promo. We're not going to discuss what it would be to actually promote our nutraceuticals, because anybody that they actually promote, they'll get a percentage, and we work it out.
And Bruce would do the installation of the hyperbaric. He knows it'll work in.
Or you just tell them how to install. It's nothing to it really to install. You just have to have the specs of how big a space you have to have around it. In specs, it's really easy. I mean, my chamber here just sits literally on the carpet, so it's not a hard thing to do to put a vertical grand dive. It has just internal supports, and you just blow it up. you turn it on. It's just.
And then when you go to the person's house, you probably just plug it in. And
No, you don't have to go to the. Well, you have your own power in the van.
Did you say, don't you go to the homes of the people? Or
You're not taking it out. You're not taking it out of the van. You're actually having.
No, I didn't say you did, but you go to the person's house.
Or a business or a section of the city. For example, let's say you have 4 quadrants of a city and you have 2 vans. Every second day there'll be one of the vans, let's say in your corner of the city, and you could be within, say, a mile or so. So you drive to a parking lot or an area or a building, or if you have enough of them, you'd maybe go to a business or let's say a corporation was going to have a wellness program. You could drive down there so many days a week, and they would have a person that could do diagnostic screening. They can even have a person that's trained as a tech to draw blood, stool, and urine, that kind of stuff for more advanced testing.
So this is just in the thinking stage, obviously, and you will have to talk to me more about it.
Well, I wanted to mention it because I wanted to get.
You're just trying to get my attention on the air with this thing.
Well, we're getting a lot of popular requests over the last 3 or 4 years, and we have a lot of details to work out. And each country might be different. Depending on where there's, like in Italy or South Africa or whatever, each place might be completely different.
All right. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah, but it's a new kind of idea of a mobile.
You can see I'm thinking of the
therapy.
numbers. I'm thinking of the numbers, and Bill's thinking of the medicine. That's probably why when we met, I was the stockbroker, Bill was the doctor.
Yeah.
It's still like that today, right? I'm the numbers person, and you're the medical guy.
Well, I work on numbers too. Medical, legal, actually.
I work on numbers too.
The legal agreement.
That's a good one, you guys. Yeah, don't worry.
Well, you have to have the proper margins, or you can't do it. That's my grandfather's a talented business, but you have to actually have the legal agreement, which I will work out through my pro se litigant training with jurisdictionary. So we'll get that, and then we'll have it all set up. And if we need to run it by an attorney, we'll make sure it's done.
Okay, I do medicine too.
You do, actually.
You work on numbers too.
I'll tell you.
I'm going to be the next person.
I'll tell you. Let me use a little joke here. You use medicine. I give 20 things in recommendation. You give 4 or 5 out of that 20, and they say thank you. I can afford it in my budget.
I am getting good at that. How about that? Since you're blowing your horn, I may as well blow mine a little bit. But obviously, I know how to break down those protocols from being huge when you give them, and I know how to break them down now.
That's why.
So think of that. Now, Bill and I nattering onto each other here. If Bill gives you a protocol that seems to be too big, I would say my forte now in this business is that I know what's in all the supplements now to be able to break them down to tell you, okay, you can do with this 5 or 6 instead of this 20. And I have lots of people that know me and will call me and say, "Hey, Michelle, can you do with this?"
The bottom line is
big protocol.
The bottom line is on what you get well, and if the 5 will do it, that's good. But if it doesn't, then you know that you've got the other 15 to work on.
I didn't say I get anyone well. I just break it down.
That's my forte. Yeah.
Well, I do know that there's times for sure. I'm trying to learn what times are necessary for the great big huge one, and what times can go with the small.
Well, I had a consult this morning. Just won't mention the name.
Oh, yeah.
Has a metastatic cancer, probably coming from the esophagus into the lungs. Mm-hmm. And, of course, I'm going to do inhalation therapy with a mister inhaler. Mm-hmm. And you grind up cell detox glutathione tablets and dissolve them with 10 to 20 drops in the inhalation machine of Nutrimedical. Mm-hmm. And then take orally enzymes to strip off the capsule of the tumor, which would be Inflamax, 3 to 5 capsules 3 times a day. Mm-hmm. Nutridefense, which boosts your NK's killer cell activity. And a few other things, and that'll help you fight cancer. And of course, we added that to their protocol.
Now, Brianna from Texas, Bill. Hey, Brianna. She doesn't know why she got this mastitis. Is that what you call it in the breasts, where you get an infection because she got red streaks?
Right.
What causes that? And will it go through to the milk of the baby?
Yeah.
What is it? And will it go through?
What goes through to the baby? Just a second. I got a distraction because I wanted the emergency pages, and I'll tell you about it on the break.
Okay, you're going to answer my question, or what?
We're hearing the music.
Ahead.
First off, mastitis is infection in the glands, the ductal glands.
Yes.
And I would take Allicin orally and Nutridine orally.
Does it go through the milk?
Yes. Yeah, it did, but yeah, that's why you want to make certain.
Will the baby get the infection?
It's possible, but not as likely. No, it's mainly in the glands itself, but it's not deadly. And so, just to kind of finish the last couple of words on that, on mastitis, what I tell people to take, mothers, take an Allicin Med every day and 10 drops Nutridine 3 times a day orally, 3 times a day. And if you get topically on the breast, you can also put curcumin cream to reduce inflammation of the breast.
And my question was, what causes it?
It's just basically, glands get infected with bacteria, and so they go back down the gland duct into the gland and can make it inflamed.
Because I never had that. I just wonder why a person would get that. I guess it's just a random thing.
Yeah, it can happen when a baby's sucking. Sometimes it'll actually cause bacteria to go back down in the gland. It's usually not a big deal unless you get a real serious infection. And if you knock it out quickly with Allicin Med and Nutridyne, you're laughing.
Here's a funny joke from Santi. I've got to put a joke in with all our seriousness. Here, let's get a funny joke, especially from Santi. And I haven't had jokes for ages, but I noticed when I got back home yesterday, I had a lot of jokes. I had another one here, Bill. But
people are getting in a funny mood. Hey, that's good.
Are you ready?
Yep.
A woman and her 12-year-old son were riding in a taxi in Detroit. It was raining and all the prostitutes were standing under awnings. "Mom," said the boy, "what are all those women doing?" "They're waiting for their husbands to get off work," she replied. The taxi driver turns around and says, "Geez, lady, why don't you tell them the truth? They're hookers, boy. They have sex with men for money." The little boy's eyes get wide, and he says, "Is that true, Mom?" His mother, glaring hard at the driver, answers in the affirmative. After a few minutes, the little boy asks, "Mom, if those women have babies, what happens to them?" "Most of them become taxi drivers," she said.
Oh,
Santi, that's cute.
That's pretty funny.
I thought that was a good one. He used to send a lot. He must be back in...
He's back in the gear. He's got his nutraceuticals all adjusted, brain operating for high gear.
Because I haven't been getting many jokes, for a while. But
now you're getting a flood of them. That's good.
Okay, Mike from North Carolina. "Hi, Michelle. I've been a long-time listener to the show, also a customer, and I thought I was allowed to use the wellness conditions as a customer, and I tried to log in, and he can't get in." Well, Mike, my dear, I've got to make this so simple. Instead of when Bill and I are talking, it gets complicated about the wellness conditions. It's really very simple. If you've ordered in the last 6 months, you'll be fine, which I call a regular customer. If you haven't, you will not be able to. And Mike, I looked it up, and you haven't ordered since 2014. No, you will not get the wellness conditions. However, if you order anytime soon, you can ask again, and you will get the wellness conditions. But you're like out of luck there, guy. You haven't ordered since 2014. If you're on any plan, man, you're running out. You're running out over there.
Yeah, and by the way, also, as I can add a little addendum, for consultations, for phone and email consultations. You can talk about that, right?
Well, no, you do it. Go ahead.
Okay, basically, if you want a phone consult and you're not one of our elite, which is regular customers, you're going to have to fee and fill out the history form, because I don't want to do just a slap job. I want to do a proper professional job. So there's a very complete history form there to fill out and pay for a phone or an email consult, and then I'll complete it and give you a proper report, which may indicate the need for conventional investigations or treatment or surgery, and avoid the stupid things in medicine or surgery, and to decide on what clinics you need to get referred to. So I do a proper professional job. So the elite customers, they get that service free. Yeah, and you know who they are. In fact, I think the only person that determines that is you, Mishi.
Uh-oh. Be nice to me. I'll make you all elite.
I may be the CEO. She's the CFO.
Oh, now I get credit for the CFO.
Yeah.
A minute ago, you said, "Yo, yeah, you can do numbers." That's funny, because I'm with my son Matthew. He's the same as Bill. He's like, they think they do everything, right?
Well, actually, I do.
Oh,
but she has veto power. How's that?
Look at it. I won't even go about you and money. I'm not even going to start. And Pam, if you're listening, you're laughing at that. Okay, where am I? Oh, next, Bill, is Simon from Stoke-on-Trent, Staffordshire, England. "Hi, Michelle. Do you have a product for hair loss or baldness?"
Yes.
"I can't find it in the product listing. God bless you and Dr. Bill."
Right.
Thank you.
Use Recidivil hair tonic on your scalp. Rub it in twice a day. Recidivil, RECIDIVAL. Take Collagen Max capsule twice a day. Take Her Majesty's Royal Jelly that generates pro-collagen, right? And then take Mountain Red Velvet, open a capsule under your tongue 3 to 4 times a day. And your hair will grow like crazy. And add Lumen Photon on the Nico setting, or putting it on setting number 4. And it'll regenerate your hair.
I have something to say. Hey, Ken, our friend Ken over there in Georgia. If you haven't heard me for a while, Ken, I've been traveling to Oregon and whatever, because I think I have a message to call you back, which I will. I noticed that he left a praise report for his significant other there, Bill. And it has to do with, I thought of it, the hair loss, because she was balding. Losing a lot of hair. And I guess what she has is the Recidival,
right?
But you told her how to use that.
Right, exactly.
Collagen Max, and Mountain Red Deer. Right. And Ken left a message that her hair is like growing like crazy.
Oh, yeah.
Growing like crazy.
Yeah.
With those.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Once again, I've narrowed it down to a few products.
We have several hundred health conditions that are told by the conventional doctors you can't treat or make better or reverse. And we do it on a daily basis anywhere on the planet.
This next email is a little funny. Charles from Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. Dear Michelle, I know this is not timely, but I get a little disorganized. He says all the time. The Silver 100 that I ordered and sent last Christmas time arrived shattered. This date of his email is June the 9th. Charles, what are you doing up there in Canada? Drinking too much beer or something, right? That's so funny. I do not know if I can do anything about it, but I finally came across it. He wants to order, I guess he's due to order his Nutridyne. And, it's funny, I wanted to read this on the air because all of you know that if you have a problem with your product, I'll always replace it. Well, believe it or not, I'll replace this for you too, Charles, but I find it hilarious. It's like, why don't you just wait till next Christmas?
Probably what happened is he got frozen in a snowstorm and he just came. Somebody just thawed him out. They took a butane heater to her, and he came out of a deep freeze, just like woolly mammoth or something.
Honestly, I thought that was funny. But leave it to Canadians to ask for a freebie, right? You don't want to talk about socialized medicine right now, but I think it's a great thing to have socialized medicine. I think everybody should have free medicine.
Well, actually, I go even further than that, to be honest. I don't believe in socialized medicine. I just think you have to prove you're a citizen. You don't have socialization, and also you don't have a fee code for everything. You see the doctor, it's between you and the doctor. It's nobody's business, especially your insurance or the government. If you see the doctor, all you have to do is put in a time code for how long he saw you. That's it. And everything else is his business and your business, nobody else's.
Right, but everyone has access.
Yeah, everybody should have access. You shouldn't have to buy insurance or worry about pre-existing.
No.
And not only that, there should be controls of medications and so on. And also should be non-government certification bodies, no state licensing authority, only the professional organizations. And you should have what's called lateral training. You can start off as a massage therapist, and if you take enough courses and so on, you can become a neurosurgeon. It's your proclivity and your training and your talent and ability and willingness to learn.
Yeah, everyone should have access.
Yeah.
But unfortunately here, it doesn't work like that in America, the richest country in the world.
Well, it'll eventually happen once the country goes belly up. Michelle, you always have fun on Friday, don't you? I think getting Dr. Bill is probably the reason why hour one on Friday is probably the top hour of the week.
Getting Bill.
Getting Bill.
Getting Bill. I don't think I quite call you Dr. Bill yet.
Yeah, I think you like how Kelsey this morning, though, when I'm taking care of her nails.
Oh, yeah, she's calling you Dr. Daddy.
Dr. Daddy, taking care of her.
That's because you're taking care of her.
Yes, and she was a little baby girl, and I took care of her in the ICU in her first heart surgery. And she had intermammary catheters and so on, mammary artery.
Okay, Dr. Daddy B. Do you like that? I call you Daddy B, but not Dr. Bill.
As long as you don't slide and make it Dr. Phil, that's good.
Okay.
He's the guy that deals with all the strange behavior.
I know that, Bill. Everybody out there knows that.
Yeah, I know. Go ahead. I'm having fun here.
Dear Dr. Bill, this is James from Missouri. Hey, James. I get my supplements from Nutrimedical. I was diagnosed 7 years ago with acid reflux. The gastro doctor prescribed me Nexium once a day. When I tried to get off the medication in the early years, the acid reflux would come back with a vengeance. So ultimately, I got back on the medication just to relieve the symptoms. 1 year ago, I tried to get back off the medication using apple cider vinegar, baking soda, antacids, GastroHeal. I succeeded for about 6 months, and after having a persistent cough and bad heartburn, I once again had to get back on Nexium. After years of being on Nexium, I started having other symptoms such as joint pain in all my joints, stomach problems, and recently 2 months ago I had a stress test to check out his heart. He said, why? Because I felt something was wrong with my chest, and the test came back good, so they said, but he heard about a finding on PPIs or something. What's a PPI? I really feel that the Nexium, he found out online that Nexium destroys the Teflon-like lining of the blood vessels that surround the heart. I feel like my life expectancy has been shortened 20%. I'm 52, in great shape. Most of my family live in their 90s. I just have this bad problem with my stomach. I recently started a regimen of 15 drops of Nutrimedical and 6 ounces of filtered water 4 times a day. Let that absorb for a while. Then I use Silver 100 spray, 10 shots down the back of my throat and 2 shots in each nostril. This helped my persistent cough and helped my stomach, but I'm not out of the woods yet. I feel like I need to do a little more to beat the acid reflux, which you can tell him here, Bill.
Yeah.
But now he goes as far as his heart. Now he's really, kind of freaked out. He says that he needs something to strengthen his heart for the damage that the Nexium has done.
Okay. The first thing is Nexium is what's called a proton pump inhibitor. It prevents you from absorbing minerals because the second part of the duodenum, which is only 10 centimeters, 2.5 inches, absorbs all your minerals. So if you screw that up, not only that, your enzymes work in what's called a PK enzyme range for digesting proteins. So you get protein deficiency and mineral deficiency. That's how it indirectly affects the heart. And the first thing you want to do is acid reflux is caused by one thing. It's called the myenteric plexus of nerves in your esophagus, and the cardia, which is the attachment between the esophagus and the upper stomach, called the cardia. It's called cardia because it's the same nerve supply as the heart. Cardia meaning heart. So you can't tell if it's esophageal spasm or hiatal hernia or an erosion, or if it's due to coronary artery spasm, or even a dissecting aneurysm. So the first thing you want to take, besides GastroHeal, you chew 1 tablet to 2 tablets. You should be on 2 4 times a day. Zinc carnosine. You have to kill off the bacteria like Helicobacter pylori and other pathogens like yeast and fungi. So he's on the right track. Nutrimedical 15 to 20 drops 4 times a day in water. And you should gargle, and you should also use Silver 100.
Yes.
5 to 6 sprays 4 times a day. And Allison Med. So he needs to do all of those. Plus he needs to start healing the gut wall solid membrane. So you want to take the copper Regenamax, which is a copper ligand. You want to take Nutrifos and Neurogen to restore the cell membranes. And the most important thing of all is called IBS Care, which is a slow-release form of carnitine that restores the normal motion of the myenteric plexus so the esophagus doesn't crawl up into your chest. It actually causes the peristaltic waves to make it crawl back below your diaphragm.
Really?
Yeah, it's like a giant worm. The worm's going in the wrong direction. Really? And it can actually create a sac that can actually climb above your diaphragm. And then if you get acid or food reflux because the lower esophageal sphincter doesn't work properly, and it can get bad enough you end up needing surgery. And they can do surgery through laparoscopics. They don't have to do the big open, thoracotomy. They have to go through your chest in order to do it now. So what I tell people is IBS Care, GastroHeal, Nutrifos Neurogen, and Copper Regenamax, antipathogenics, Allison Med, Silver 100 Nutrimedical, and I also recommend the anti-inflammatories such as curcumin, which is the cell defense, and the use of NutriDefense, which is the most powerful antioxidant, protectant. NutriDefense, at least 2 capsules 3 times a day. That should heal it. If that doesn't, then we bump it up to a few other steps. You can also use Lumen Photon over the upper chest and micropulse to speed the healing process. Lumen, I would probably put it on setting 4 or Nico, and the micropulse up at the maximum setting over your upper abdomen with the 2 little electrodes. And that'll speed the healing. But basically, you can get what's called a acid reflux study to see if it's fixed. There are situations where I will recommend surgery if it's gone too far and there's been too much damage. But if you don't restore the normal peristalsis, even if you surgically fixed it, it'll crawl back up in your chest. And
to strengthen his heart?
VascuCare, which is the propionyl L-carnitine, Gamma E+, and Cardiovasc, and the magnesium glycinate malate and Omega Supreme. Very important. And
if
you want
pick 2 of those, what are the most important for heart strengthening? The lining. The heart.
Omega Supreme Krill and cardiovascular.
Okay. Let's see. Next,
But you want to take the other things too.
Next
You're
is
not really going to get the strengthening if you don't take the other 3 or 4 things I mentioned.
Charles from Texas. Hey, Charles. Haven't heard from Charles for a little while. Hi, Michelle. What is the name of the blood test mentioned in the newsletter that can name all of the viral infections someone has had due to the antibodies contained? Where can I get it?
Immunosciences Lab at Los Angeles with Dr. Aristo Vojdani, Vojdani, Immunosciences, Immuno-Sciences in Los Angeles. And if you become the lab director, he can actually send a kit to your doctor, and you can do it. It's not a commercial, personal lab, but you can actually go through what's called it's called directlabs.com. If you talk to the lab director, they will send you a kit to do testing there through one of the functional medicine labs. And they do have contract to labs to do immunology testing there, too.
He goes on to say, you're great. He loves it. It's just like he said, everything you do, right, is. But he's so funny. You know how funny Charles is.
Yeah, he's a character, yeah.
He says, except cheese. Do you eat cheese? Yes.
Cheese? Oh, he doesn't like people eating cheese.
No. I've had a few of our customers say, don't eat cheese. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. They say there's something in it like cocaine that makes you get addicted to cheese. What's that all about?
I think some people try to say that. I think cheese is not,
casein
just like,
or something like that.
No. I don't,
even if it is there, we're addicted to all our food, aren't we?
Well, there are things in cheese that tend to be stimulatory, but it's no more stimulatory than the natural. For example, they would talk about MSG, but there's natural glutamates that are present in most foods that are like pickles or all kinds of things that are glutamates.
And we have wonderful organic cheese from grass-fed cows, and let me tell you, Charles, it is super delicious.
Well, if you have grass-fed cows, you're going to have conjugated linoleic acid, which helps prevent vascular disease. And a very minor amount of stimulant effect, because there's a ton of foods that have glutamate or glutamate-like activity, and they work on what's called an NMDA receptor. N-methyl-D-aspartate receptor, and it's no big deal. The problem is MSG is bad because it's so damn powerful.
And that's
the body,
never in cheese, MSG.
No, you don't get MSG in cheese. No.
So
but you do have things that work on the N-methyl-D-aspartate receptor, and it's very minor. It's not a big, strong problem. So,
Garrett?
I know all this chemistry, eh? Press button, data download coming.
Try to impress me after 30 years of marriage. I know all this stuff. That's so funny. I think we're going off the air right now, Bill.
Yeah, we will be back in a minute.
Stop smiling any minute now.
I missed you for 4 days.
I know, you're so googly. It's good to be away from each other for a little while. Don't you think? No, not you. I'll put you in my suitcase.
Well, you have lots of interesting things to talk about here today.
Darren from Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. My good friend Blaine is up there.
We've got some great Canadian friends, haven't we?
Yeah, Blaine. You have a neighbor, Blaine. Let's see. He says, good day. I have heard of benefits from sun gazing 1 hour before sunset and 1 hour after dawn. Have you ever heard of this? I have tried this and felt a warm sensation, hopefully not my corneas melting. I sense of a calm, actually, like a deep breath. Any insight on this would be great. He also says his girlfriend has. Is that supposed to be eye surgery recently? I'm wondering if there would be any sort of side effects. ICI, or is that ACL he's trying to say?
ACL, yeah. ACL, and
you pressed the wrong.
Acute,
okay.
Yeah.
The first question on the sun gazing.
Firstly, I don't recommend sun gazing at any time of the day, but it is a good idea to wear some kind of clothing and go out at those times because you're going to get what's called the infrared frequencies in light, which are therapeutic, and avoid the ultraviolet frequencies in midday, which are dangerous. Between about 10 a.m. and 3 p.m., depending on the amount of sun...
But you don't stare at the sun.
No, but in those times it's dangerous to be out in the sun. I tell people, well, even going out with clothing, because we now went from 23% ultraviolet B or higher energy 23 years ago to over 75% now. And going out in the middle of the day is increasing everybody's cataract development, skin damage, and the sun does cause skin cancer only if you put on sun protection because their paraphenol compounds are activated by sunlight and can actually cause DNA damage. So if you're going to go in the sun, wear proper hats and UV protective clothing, but don't put on any sun protection. And some people use these zirconium, or they use other forms of powders, zinc powders and so on to block it, and those are effective. But then you got to shower it all off. And if they block your pores, then they can give you acne, or whatever. But the only ones that are effective are ones that are like these, basically these, very kind of gross-looking powders and creams.
Well, on Tuesday, when I was up in Oregon, I actually hiked all the way to the top of Multnomah Falls. And if you're from Oregon, you know that's the tallest falls in Oregon.
Right.
And I don't like suntan lotion, so I just went in my shorts, and oh my gosh, how much fun was that all the way up. We even took the baby, but the baby, of course, she was protected.
The other thing about the sun midday is it photoactivates a lot of the drugs your doctor gives. And if you want to make your doctor's eyeballs rotate in opposite directions, ask him how many of the drugs that he gives are photoactivated by the sun, and he'll absolutely have no knowledge. They're all in the PDR, Physician's Desk Reference. And if you go out in the sun, for example, with taking things like Levaquin or a quinolone antibiotic, which is it would basically a DNA gyrase inhibitor, so it damages the DNA replication capacity of your mitochondria. So that's why your ligaments can pop and tear apart.
What is it in sunscreen that's bad? It's the SPF thingy. What is it?
It's the phenolic compounds.
What is it? What is?
When the sunlight hits those phenolic compounds, they pick up energy and they transfer it to drugs that are in your skin, or they can damage your DNA. So the actual.
I'm just saying in general. You know how we don't use sunscreen with SPF because
they form DNA adducts. They attach to the DNA of your cells.
Yeah, and you can get from Sprouts or Trader Joe's or probably online a natural sunscreen.
Yeah, but remember now, the natural sunscreens aren't strong enough. Yeah, in order to have a proper SPF for midday sunlight, you'd have to have like SPF 100 or something ridiculous.
But normally we're not out midday. I don't normally go out, but I just happen to be.
I tell people the best time to go out, I don't like going out to the pool until after 3 p.m.
It took all day to get to the top, the falls and down again. We were there and we stopped at the top and pictures and that. So. Well,
they discovered in South Africa in places where there's a lot of sunlight and lots of UV. They call this area of the triangle below the neck, that triangle where you get cancer, they call that the triangle of death. Dermatologists and cancer doctors, skin cancer doctors.
Yeah. That's the worst exposure.
That's where you get just below your chin, because if you're wearing a hat, your upper V area of your shirt is open and you're getting UV protection from your clothing, but the V area gets blasted.
Okay, and to answer about the ACL surgery for...
Well, that's another example. If you're taking Levaquin or moxifloxacin or DNA gyrase 4 inhibitors, your ligaments will rupture. And so I tell people if you had ACL repair, like a cadaver graft or a transfer from somewhere else in your body, like your Achilles, you want to take Collagen Max, Mountain Red Velvet, and Tendon Mender and Joint Performance to regenerate the ligaments, and use a Lumen Photon setting number NICO or setting number 4 or 5 and micropulse, and it'll speed your healing. And you can exercise on the VibraSlim the same day or next day even, and you're fine.
This is a good question from Pam, our friend from North Chicago area, Bill. We received our QRMA machine on Friday, and I learned that the software on the CD that comes with it is only Windows compatible. Our computers are all Macs. Before I buy Windows software and partition my Mac to also run Windows, I thought I would check to see if there's any QRMA software available for the Mac that I can download. No,
and you can't partition your software and use a Mac. You have to use a PC. You cannot get Windows software and put it on your PC. You'll have to have a PC, and I recommend the older PCs that are a year or so old, so don't get a brand new one that doesn't have a disk drive, because you need to have a disk drive.
Yes.
Otherwise, you have to put an external drive and then connect it to your new fancy, regular Windows PC. And I watched the program the other day. We were away between Gates and the inventor of the Mac, and it was quite an interesting story, the fight back and forth and the creativity and the dirty business deals and so on going on. So,
Tom,
Macs are more elegant. Windows are brutish, let's put it that way, and they have taken over the market, but the Mac is more elegant.
Tom from Connecticut. Hello, Dr. Deagle. This is, he's talking about the wellness van. I think you've already, there's no point in reading that question, right? Because you've already talked about it.
But, the wellness van issue,
Yeah, I'll just pass that on to you and you can give more information, right?
Yeah. What was his first name?
Tom from Connecticut.
Yeah.
Let's see. Tony from North Orange County, right here in California. I need information on thyroid. I called today, and I guess he's tried to email you a few times, Bill.
Well, first
And
off,
it says-
thyroid, when you hear hypothyroid, which is most common rather
He
than
he says, I need a consultation or advice for my thyroid issues. I've been diagnosed with hyperthyroidism and have been taking, what's that?
levothyroxine.
Yeah, and I would like to find a healthier way to treat this disease.
It's probably hypo, right? If he's taking levothyroxine, it means he's hypothyroid.
Oh, okay.
Hypo, Hypl. And
Yeah.
so levothyroxine is useless. T4 is not a hormone, it's a prohormone, and you want to take a glandular. Our mitothyroid will replace that, usually 2 capsules twice a day. And you want to measure free T4, free T3, and free reverse T3. It is covered by everybody's insurance, but your doctor has to order it. And a high sensitivity TSH, and if your reverse T3 is real high, your TSH is useless and it's of no value whatsoever. More importantly is your core body temperature. You can get a gerotherm, alcohol thermometer, or electronic thermometer. And if your core body temperature is low, you're hypometabolic, which is the more accurate way rather than taking hypothyroidism, because only 1 in 20 people has antithyroid antibodies. The other 19 have hypothyroidism due to called thyroid resistance syndrome, where they're converting to reverse thyroid hormone rather than T3. And our T3 will actually put you in suspended animation. So if somebody wants NASA to do deep space, say to Mars, and put people into suspended animation, just give them a slow transdermal drip of reverse T3 and their core body temperature will drop, and you'll put them into suspended animation.
Okay.
Interesting, eh? So when people are fat, they're actually burning RT3 in their fat tissues. So they're fatter in suspended animation. That's why they can't lose weight.
Judith from Virginia, and we're running short on time, so see how much is in there. I'll just go right to the
key thing, yeah.
Paxil. She's taking Paxil for panic attacks.
Paxil's dangerous. It's very relative to the drug called Killijack.
Yeah.
Which are called Prozac.
What do we have for panic attacks? Real simple.
Firstly, Calmine, Posonol, and Brain Mag. That's the triad will knock out panic attacks the same day.
Good, because a lot of people say they're having panic
That'll
attacks
stop it
these
immediately.
days.
Do you know why?
Well, the world we live in, I guess.
It's a crazy world, and that crazy world is starting to make people have logical attacks and dream attacks and visions, and stuff's happening. We're going to talk about that in the third hour today and beyond.
Next question
Like
is
Buzz
chronic
Lightyear.
fatigue. We'll do that maybe next week.
Chronic fatigue is all mitochondrial. We can reverse it. We have a mitochondrial protocol, and we can reverse it in a matter of a day or two. No problemo. Easy.
Well, it's wonderful to be back. Have a wonderful weekend. God bless you. We love you. Take care. Remember, we're always here. And I'm always here on the phones when you call 888-212-8871. Ask for me, because I love to talk and get caught up on what everybody's doing.
And I tell people, what we know and what God is always sufficient.
Oh, yes. God bless you. God bless you. Number one.
Yeah.
I was praying a lot when I was away.
Yeah.
Praying for everybody.
Very good. Hour 2 is coming up, and if you do have questions, we put up the call-in number, 800-259-5791. First hour Fridays, we don't answer questions because we're answering them on air by email and phone. 888-212-8871 is our order line.